Right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's Alertus Power Lunch, branding your alerts with HTML template skins. So my name is Brooke, and I'm a trainer here at Alertus, and I'm also joined by Sarah, who will be leading the conversation today. This session will show you how to create and apply HTML template skins, allowing you to customize and brand your desktop alerts for consistent and professional communication. So this is, of course, an interactive session, so please feel free to put any questions in the QA feature or chat. And also please be aware that the session is being recorded for training purposes. All right, so without further introduction, I'm going to send it your way, Sarah.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Brooke. I will go ahead and share my screen so we can take a look at my Alertus console. And to access all of the HTML template skin settings and desktop settings, we're going to go to the desktop page. So I'm going to open up Configure System and come down to Desktop. And then if I scroll all the way down to the very bottom here, this is the HTML alert template skins section. And these template skins allow the customization of default signed HTML alert templates. So you can make custom templates and really brand your Alertus alerts to come from your organization. And this does require Alertus Desktop Premier features, which I believe is typically included with a standard ENS license. But to add a new HTML alert template skin, you can click the link here, and this will show you all of the default ones that have already been created. And you can also click Add HTML Alert Template here if you do want to build out a new one from scratch that's not building off of one of the default templates that's already available. But I will note if you are creating a new HTML alert template for security reasons, when you do go to save it and add it to your system, it does require a digital signature here that allows communication between the Alertus server and the desktop clients. So to get this digital signature, that is something that the Alertus support team can provide. So whenever you are ready to create and save a new HTML template, I definitely recommend reaching out to support and then they can help you get this digital signature. But from this section here, this is where you can add in the HTML code for the template body of your new template. And I did create just a very basic one here that I can paste in. You're also able to give an ID number to uniquely identify this HTML alert template. And then you can give it a name here. I'll just name it example alert template. Of course, you can call it whatever you'd like. But once you do have your template body added with this XML code here, you'll be able to see a preview of what it'll look like. And then, like I mentioned, you will just need to get that signature from the support team so that you can go ahead and add it onto your system. But in addition to adding new ones completely from scratch, you can also just edit existing HTML alert templates that we do already have available for you. And that does not require a new digital signature. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to add a new HTML alert template skin, but I'm going to be building off of an HTML template that does already exist as a default one that's provided for you. So I am just going to pick this Manhattan style as an example, but there are a ton of different template options. If you do want to preview any of these, there's a lot of default ones that are available. But I'm just going to use this Manhattan one as an example, and I'm going to brand this to fit my example company. So what I'm going to do is give it a name. Maybe I'll just name this 11.7 branded company template. And then from the variables tab here, this is where you can really customize it. So let's say, for example, I don't want to just have the Alertus logo here. I want to add my own company's logo. I'm going to scroll down to the logo image setting and I'm going to click here. And I previously have uploaded my own company logo to be able to pull in. This is where you're able to upload an image. And then you could also use any default images or previously uploaded images. And I'm just going to use this example, enter your logo here image, but of course you can pull in your specific logo. And then I might also want to change some of the like head titles here as well. So maybe, for example, I'll scroll down to this subtitle setting. Maybe instead of saying emergency alert system, I'll say example company alert. I could say Alertus alert for our organization. You can call it whatever you'd like. You can change the text color as well. Maybe I'll just stick with a black for that. I can also come down and change the title color. Maybe I'll just make it black for this default template here. So I think this looks good. It's branded with my logo and my company name, so people will know it's coming from me when I use this template for a desktop alert. So whenever you're ready, I'm just going to go back to general and confirm my name has been added. You can also add a description if you'd like. And then I'm going to go ahead and click add. So that will add the HTML template down here so that I have it saved when I do want to send out branded desktop alerts. And in order to pull in specific desktop formatting during an alert, you are able to further customize these templates to create what's called desktop profiles. And these are the exact audio and visual settings that you can use when you're sending out alerts. So what I'm going to do is just click to add a new desktop profile. I'm going to create a desktop profile for an active threat alert as well as one for an all clear alert. And from this page, again, I have the option to give it a name. Maybe I'll just name this 11.7 active threat. So I know I am creating this today. And then you can still choose from any pop-up templates that already exist on your system that you haven't customized yet. And you can come to the variables tab and do all of the customization from here to just save it within that desktop profile. But because I took the step of creating my branded company template, I can just pull that in directly. So I already have my logo here. I already have my company name. Now I can just make a few quick edits so that it is specific for an active threat alert. So I'm going to come back to variables here, and then I'm going to scroll down. Maybe instead of having the header background just be gray, maybe I'll change it to be red for an active threat. Maybe instead of just saying emergency alert, I'll make it more specific to specify that this is an active threat. Maybe I will capitalize it as well for emphasis. So that looks good for an active threat alert. It's very obvious what's going on. And where it says enter your custom message here, I'm not going to update that now. This is just going to pull in whatever alert message I'd send out.
Sarah, just make sure you spell active right.
Oh, I did spell active wrong. Whoops. I'm trying to type and talk at the same time, so thank you. Definitely, I recommend spell checking everything, running it by another person to make sure it's all typed out correctly. But I believe everything looks good there.
Yes, great.
Thank you, Brooke.
Of course.
And then I'm going to come back to the general tab. And this is also where you can set the audio settings that you want to use for the desktop. So right now it's on no audio, but you could pick text to speech if you wanted the desktops to read your alert message out loud. And you can decide how many times you'd like that to repeat. You can also specify the number of seconds of delay between repetitions. And we even have this option here to override the system volume. So if this is turned on, then even if a desktop is muted or on silent, it will still read the message here out loud with whatever volume setting you have specified. And in addition to just using text to speech, you can also pull in an audio file, which could be helpful if you did want the desktops to play like a specific beep or chime when they are activated. And you can also upload custom audio for the desktop profile here as well. But maybe for this example, I'll stick with text to speech. Maybe I'll repeat my message 3 times with a 3-second delay between repetitions. And maybe I will override the system volume. Typically, we recommend keeping it somewhere around 75% or less, just in case someone is using headphones. You want to make sure it's not too loud for them. But I think this looks good. I'm going to go ahead and click add. Once you do add the desktop profile and save it, it will give you this pop-up here that will ask you if you want to go ahead and create a new alert service with that desktop profile. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to name it the same thing, 11.7 active threat. Maybe I'll name it active threat desktop. So that way I know it's the one I've created today, and it'll be ready for me to pull into my activations. So go ahead and click submit. And then I'm going to follow a similar process one more time. I can see the desktop profile, by the way, showing up in the list here, but I'm going to go ahead and add another one. But this time I'm going to create one for an all clear alert so that it will look different from my active threat desktop takeover. And so I'm going to name this one 11.7 all clear. And then I'm going to pick that same branded template that I created. So it already, again, has my company name and my company logo, but I'm going to come over to variables. And maybe this time for the header background, I'm going to pick a green. Since this is for my all clear alert, I can pick a green. That looks good and still lets me read the text clearly. And then once you have that color selected, maybe I will also come down to change the title again. Maybe instead of emergency alert, I will say all clear. I also spelled clear wrong. What is going on? There we go. So I can do my spell check here. That looks good. And then again, if I come back to general, I might want to add some audio settings. Maybe I will also pick text to speech for this example. Maybe I'll also have it repeat 3 times with a 3-second delay, and I'll also go ahead and override the system volume. So I think this looks good. I'm going to go ahead and click add as well, and I'll go ahead and make that alert service with the desktop profile. So I will click to do that, and then I'm going to name it 11.7 all clear desktop. There we go, and then click submit. So now I will also see that new desktop profile I created for my all clear alerts. And since I did create an alert service with both of those desktop profiles, I'll be able to see those if I come into the alert services page. These alert services are what you're able to actually pull into your activations, whether you're sending out a custom activation or creating a new preset alert. And I can see those two I just created at the top. Here's my active threat desktop alert service. If I click in to edit that, I can see that it's using that active threat desktop profile I just created. And then I can also see my alert service for my all clear alerts. If I click in to edit this, I can see it is using that all clear desktop profile. So that looks good. So the last step today is I will show you how you can use each of these desktop settings during an activation. And for now, I'm just going to go ahead and send out a custom activation from the custom activation page. And first, I'm going to send out an active threat alert. I do believe I have one for an active threat. If I don't have a message template already saved, I can just type out something custom. So maybe I'll say there is an active threat, follow emergency procedures. Again, this is just an example message. You can, of course, make it say whatever you'd like. You can also set the duration and priority here. The duration is just how long the alert will be active and displayed on your desktops. And you can set that duration to be any amount of time that you'd like. The minimum duration is 2 minutes. The maximum duration, I believe it goes up to 16 days. So you have a wide window there. Maybe I'll just leave it on 30 minutes for now. And then I can also set the priority for the alert. For an emergency like an active threat, I'd want to leave it at the highest priority, but something like a drill or system test could be lower. So now that I have my message composed, I can come down to this alert services section, and this is where I am able to pick that active threat desktop alert service that I created, and I could also pull in an alert service for any other types of devices that I'd want to target. Maybe just for fun, I'll pull in my alert beacons as well for this example, and I can click the plus sign there to update the alert beacon settings. just since this is an example and I'm sitting right in front of my alert beacons, maybe I'll leave them on silent for this alert, but I will turn on the LEDs, maybe with this LED medley. And I'll also go ahead and activate the LED marquee that I have connected to the alert beacons behind me. And then once you've selected the alert services or delivery methods, the final step is choosing recipients. So I know I would be sending this active threat alert out to desktops and alert beacons, but here I get to pick which ones. So I could check all to activate all of them. I could also pick specific groups. For example, I could activate just my desktops or my alert beacons in my building 1 group. You could pick as many groups as needed. Or if you're just testing this out to see what it'll look like, you could send the alert out just to your own computer or just to a few select devices if you'd like. But maybe for this example, I'll just pick my building 1 group since I know my computer and these alert beacons are all in that building 1 group. And before sending the activation out, there is a preview button down here. This will let you preview what the alert will look like on the desktop, so you can make sure you've picked the right alert service and that the formatting looks the way that you like. So I think this looks good. I am going to go ahead and hit continue. I can do one more final confirmation of my alert settings, and then I'll go ahead and click send to send out that alert. So now we do see there is an active alert in the system. I can see the alert beacons are going off behind me. And then I should also get the desktop alert popping up momentarily as soon as my desktop checks in. There it is.
Follow emergency procedures.
So hopefully you can hear it, but I can hear the desktop is repeating my message.
Follow emergency procedures.
And I can also see the red active threat banner as well as my company logo at the top.
Follow emergency procedures.
And I'm just going to click that dismiss button. That will close the desktop alert from my own screen. But as you can see, the alert is still active in the system. I could just let it run for the full duration, but I'm going to go ahead and cancel it early by hitting the cancel button in that active alerts window. That will stop my alert beacons from going off, and then that would also close the desktop pop-up from any other desktops that hadn't been acknowledged yet. So that's what the active threat desktop profile looked like. I can also send out an activation to show you what that all clear formatting would look like as well. So I do know that I do already have a message template saved for my all clear alerts. I have a couple different ones. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull in a message template for my message text, but I could still further edit if needed. I can also set the duration and priority here. And then for my alert service this time, I'm going to pick my all clear desktop alert service with that specific formatting. And I will also go ahead and include my alert beacons as well. Maybe for the alert beacons this time, again, I'll just leave them on silent for this webinar, but I will still turn on that LED medley. Maybe I'll pick a different LED pattern. Maybe I'll pick this announcement glow for my all clear alert. And then I can also activate my LED marquee. There is also this third one down for the alert beacon that says use alternate LED color, green. So I'm going to check that. So for the all clear, my alert beacons will blink green instead of red. And then the final step down here, again, is choosing recipients. I'm going to do the same thing and just pick my building 1 group for now. And there is still that preview button on this page, so we can preview what the all clear formatting will look like. And then whenever we're ready, we can go ahead and hit continue, confirm the alert settings one more time, and then click send.
All clear.
To push it out, and there it is.
Emergency condition is over. Return to normal activities.
Again, I can see the green banner this time that says all clear, as well as my company logo at the top.
The emergency condition is over.
And I'll go ahead and dismiss that, and then I will also go ahead and cancel the alert early. And as you can see, my alert beacons are green this time since I selected that setting. But I do believe that was everything that I wanted to cover during this webinar today. Brooke has some additional resources to share with you, and then we'll definitely save some time if there are any questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sarah. So in the chat right now, I am putting a knowledge base document around configuring the Alertus desktops on the Alertus server. So please feel free to explore that. It goes into all the things that Sarah showed about creating those desktops, either with the HTML skins or without. In addition, because I'm not seeing any questions come in the chat, I am going to put the next power lunch next week. So next Friday on the 14th, we are going to be doing a repeat of a topic that we got a lot of people interested in last time. So we will do inheriting your Alertus solution, best practices for reviewing, updating, and optimizing your Alertus system. So that link is also now in the chat, so please feel free to register for that if you would like to. We still have a few more minutes on the call today, so we're going to stay here if there are any other questions that come in, but hopefully you learned something new today and we appreciate your time. This recording will be available on the customer portal within a few weeks. And you also will be getting that email with the recording as well, if you did register. So great. Thank you all so much. We'll be here for a few more minutes. Thanks again to Sarah, and we hope to see you next week.